against it, you got an idea of what's going on.
Exactly, but these Deathblade decks, some play Tarmogoyf and some play the Stoneforge Mystic. The Blade package, you can have more or less targeted discard. You can play the hymns, you can not, you can play more aggressively, you can play soft counters or just more pinpoint discard, all sorts of things. And the sideboard options are really just, every card of every color, basically, in Magic's history, this deck has access to. So the configuration can be really well suited to both the metagame and also just the player's playstyle and experience in the format.
So again, Anderson on your left with his Mohawk, or some would say the Chohawk.
I call it the faux hawk, but not like faux, like fake, like F-A-U-X. Faux, like he's like friend or foe, like F-O-E. Because it's Todd Anderson. I'm trying to paint him as like the bad boy. Oh wow, Glenn Jones making fun of his hair too.
Get a quick dagger in there. All Todd's hair needs just a little bit of color. Throw some pink in there. That's all. The little purple in there.
Let's do blonde and a sweep, and then we can
that's Jerry. That's Jerry's thing. So Todd needs his own thing.
Okay.
I
don't know. I actually like this like thick mohawk.
I think a lime green would work well. So we're going to see a creeping tar pit. Both players can keep their 7. We are underway here in the finals of the Star City Games Open Series here in Baltimore. Hinkle going to sacrifice a fetch land, and we'll see him search out. Is it going to be an underground or a basic? It's going to be a basic.
Yep, good choice. And these game ones, the sneak attack show and tell decks are really hoping to utilize the fact that the other controlling decks like Deathblade have so many semi-dead cards. And when I say a semi-dead card, I mean one that has very, very limited application, such as Swords to Plowshares. Swords to Plowshares, not that effective against what Sneak and Show is trying to do. And the fact that there are a lot of cards like that don't really directly impact Chaz's game plan in Todd's deck is what he's going to hope to ride to win game 1. Post-board, then we get ley lines and it gets complicated. But pre-board, that's the plan.
Well, Hinkle's going to keep with his ponder. You saw a sneak attack in there, among other things. So he's happy. You see his hand right now. He's got Force Will, he's got Intuition, he's got Misdirection. Here comes the Thoughtseize. Hinkle's way. So, decision. Oh, are we going to bend it like Beckham?
Yes,
we are.
We are. Thoughtseize me? Oh, no. Thoughtseize you.
And so Misdirection changes the target of the spell. Now, it's not like Commandeer. Commandeer, you actually take control of the spell and you control the Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize, you bend it back. Todd has to reveal his hand and pick the card himself.
Yeah, Todd gets the choose.
He controls the Thoughtseize. He's just targeting himself. We don't know why.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is a pretty effective use because not only do you protect your own hand, but it's still just like 2 for 2. You're at card parity, and you can continue to play your game, and, you protected the important combo pieces in your hand. Really good use of Misdirection there.
And the important thing, too, is you get to conceal information. Todd has to still play this little guessing game as he's going to cast a Brainstorm. Caracas, Force of Will, and Swords of Plowshares. A very, very good Brainstorm here. I mean, Force of Will is certainly a nice one. Caracas being the big one.
Yes, Caracas quite one of the best cards for Todd pre-board. We talk about how few cards Todd has to interact with Chaz. Caracas is probably the best one to interact against what Sneak and Show is doing. Not necessarily all that great against Sneak Attack itself, but if you're show and telling in a Gristlebrand, it's also not that great. But if you're show and telling in an Emrakul, then it's awesome. Or if you're sneak attacking with only one red source, that's also a place where it can really shine.
Yeah. So, Todd's going to play an island, he's going to pass the turn back. Hinkle's going to sacrifice that Scalding Tarn, may search for a basic mountain, we'll see what he chooses to do. But I agree, Caracas is fantastic in this matchup as he searches for a Volcanic Island, but Sneak Attack is like kind of the natural trump. And if we ever get to see that happen where, Sneak Attack in the Emrakul, activate the Caracas, all right, Sneak Attack it back again, and be able to annihilate our 6. That's going to end it on the spot.
Yeah.
But it's up to Hinkle to be able to assemble that combo.
Yeah, he's going to need multiple red sources to get through the Caracas, which, Todd does have Wastelands, and Chaz only has one basic mountain, so that is theoretically something that he can do. And this is a pretty straightforward Force of Will. Can't let Sneak Attack resolve in this spot. And Chaz actually has a Force of Will, but not a blue card.
Yep.
And he decided that he just had to go for it because the door was closing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough spot, right? Where, you can wait, and then if you wait and you get Thoughtseized, you don't feel very good.
Yeah, can't win anymore.
Yeah. So Hinkle's going to draw a card. It's a Brainstorm, so there's your blue card. So had he waited a turn, the
Would've
green light
gotten
would have
there,
been on.
yeah.
But Brainstorm, let him get a little bit deeper.
Yeah, definitely not bad.
So Force of Will, Simian Spirit Guide, and Gristlebrand. This is yuck. It might be super yuck, too. Does he have a fetch land? I think it's his last card.
Yeah, he might have a fetch land here. Definitely not what he's looking for, though. He wants, the sneak attack or the show and tell. He's got those 7 cards that he's really looking for. None of those there. And now he has to sort of decide, how am I going to win this game through this Caracas where I don't really have access to unlimited resources. I have the Gristlebrand, which is the better of the two in this matchup, especially facing down the Caracas, rather than the Emrakul. I have the Emrakul if I want that. I have the mana, I have the fast mana, I have the Force with the other Force, as the blue card. And he does have the fetch, so how do I want to sculpt this? And it looks like he put back Gristlebrand and Simian Spirit Guide.
And the tough part here is that he actually has to play that fetch land, lose the City of Traders, just so he can fetch away the Brainstorm, because he cannot afford to be Brainstorm locked for 2 turns.
No, he needs to find a sneak attack or a show and tell, and fairly soon. I mean, he's not under a ton of pressure, but, Todd can keep drawing cards. As soon as he draws another land, he'll have a Batter Skull, and then if that land is a black, or a fetch, then he's got the Batter Skull and the Tar Pit, which is quite a quick clock. And so Chaz is, even though it doesn't look like he's under pressure, he knows that he's got to get something going quick.
Actually, one thing he can try to assemble as well is he can try to assemble a show and tell, putting in a sneak attack. Now, I mean, you can certainly make the argument that it's just much better for him to just find a sneak attack and just hard cast it, but that's something that he certainly can do. So now Hinkle's going to draw a card. Here's the Brainstorm again. So
get a little deeper once again.
Yeah, that's what the deck does. Cantrips, and he's not going to cast it.
Patience is key.
Maybe he has intuition or not. Or he could just be waiting as well, which, again, he's not in much of a hurry. And he actually got rid of the intuition to the misdirection, so never mind there.
Yeah. He also chose not to play his City of Traders. If he has to Brainstorm and fetch those cards away, he would have to sacrifice that City of Traders. But the City of Traders would have opened up a hard cast Force of Will, which little did he know is actually going to be quite relevant here, as Todd Anderson is about to tap out for a Batter Skull.
I think these people always have Batter Skull when they don't have Stoneforge Misty. It's ridiculous. It's 5 mana. Let's do this thing.
Oh, what he's actually doing is just attacking with the Tar Pit, leaving up the Caracas. This is a much safer line. And those 3 points actually makes it so now if he has another on-top land, gets to play the Batter Skull, then it's a 2-turn clock.
Sure.
So that 3 damage might not seem like that much, but the difference between 17 and 14 in increments of 7, that's just a full turn.
So here's an Ancient. He can put that one to play. I think it might be time to catch in this Brainstorm. I think
he might wait one more turn, but yeah, we're getting to the point where he's gonna have to do it soon, if not now. Looks like he's gonna wait one more turn.
Yeah, I guess maybe once Todd casts if Todd does cast the Batter Skull, then it's time to cash it in. You see him draw a land this turn, and it's like, all right, now it's time to Brainstorm. Or is he going to keep tar pitting? So he is going to keep tar pitting.
That's interesting to me. I definitely would be casting Batter Skull here. You make it just a 3-turn clock, because 1 turn to cast the Batter Skull. You represent the 2-turn clock starting the next turn. And
Misty Rainforest makes brainstorming here much easier.
Wow, and the patience pays off for Chaz, as now he's going to be able to do some real filtering. And we see Show and Tell, which is good but not good enough on its own. He does have the Gristlebrand as well, which he put back but was able to draw into again. That's important because if he Show and Tells an Emrakul into play, it just immediately gets bounced by Caracas. So he needs to put the Gristlebrand into play and try and draw some cards and find a sneak attack, which is actually what he's looking for.
So here's an interesting thing: if he Show and Tells in Gristlebrand that turn, just as a draw 7, take draw 7, lose 7, go down to 4. Gets him deeper in his deck to actually have the opportunity to maybe kill Todd in 1 turn with sneak attack plus double activation, versus he immediately put Show and Tell back, and it's just like, that's not sneak attack, I don't care. I think Gristlebrand might give him the opportunity to get more draws. Yes, it's going to get bounced with Caracas, but is this a winning line with what we're doing?
It's hard to say. I mean, if you do use it as a draw 7, you're looking at 3 damage from the Tar Pit, and that turns off not only your fetch land, so you're only getting 5 cards deeper, not 7, but it also turns off the Force of Wills in your hand, so you don't even have a way to protect your combo anymore.
Okay.
So I actually don't mind it, but Todd choosing to now as the point to tap his Caracas?
That's risky.
After the brainstorm, where Chaz is able to sculpt his hand, he's got the brainstorm fetch. Now is the time? That is strange to me. I mean, there were a couple turns earlier where it would have been a little risky, but Todd had seen Chaz's hand and had forced Chaz to expend some resources, and so he could have had taken a little risk there, tapped his Caracas to get the Batterskull into play earlier, but he chose not to. He chose the conservative line, keep the Caracas untapped, which is completely reasonable. But now it's tapped anyway. After all that, you spent all those turns not tapping your Caracas just to tap it now on the most dangerous of turns.
We'll see if he comes back to bite him, and if Hinkle can take advantage here, as he does sacrifice that land. And looks like, yeah, he does let the Stoneforge Mystery resolve. It searches for Doom without his cheat. Hinkle gonna untap. He's gonna draw it. It's a Scalding Tarn.
All right, so Todd is safe for now. Chaz does have another draw step. He's got 3 sneak attacks that he's drawing to, really with a bunch of redraws. He's got some brainstorms and ponders and whatnot there that he can use. Looks like just activating and attacking.
So Tarpit's going to bring him down to 4, and then we're looking at what's basically a lethal attack in the following turn. Because you put Batterskull into play, and then you're able to attack with all 3 guys.
Yep.
So, Mr. Hinkle, can you find what you're looking for? And the one thing Hinkle can't do is he cannot go down to 3, I don't think. I guess he's going to try to kill him in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
With if he finds sneak attack, he goes sneak attack, double activate. He actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, so he has enough red mana to actually triple activate. He has a City of Traders in his hand, so we can go sneak attack with City of Traders, Island, Mountain, for example, and then activate, counting the Caracas activation.
Right. I mean, the problem is, he knows that he's not going to be able to protect it if he taps his Ancient Tomb. He can't force a will anymore. Those extra points of damage that he did were actually, or that Todd was able to deal and that Chaz had to take, when we were talking about should he brainstorm yet, and he waited an extra couple turns to pull the trigger, actually ending up getting to the point where he's closing a lot of the outs, and sure enough, Chaz does not draw the sneak attack he needs and scoops it up. Todd takes game 1 in a matchup that, the game 1 should be favoring Todd, favoring Chaz. Todd has a lot of cards that don't really interact well with Chaz, with what Chaz is trying to do in game 1, and you hope to sideboard out a lot of those cards, but game 1, you have to use just brainstorm to shuffle them away, really, and Chaz Chaz not able to capitalize on exactly that. So now we're going to the sideboard. And you have Chaz's deck. What are we looking at?
So Mr. Hinkle has those 4 Line of Sanctities, which is the big one.
Yes.
2 Echoing Trees, 2 Blood Moons, 2 Pyroclasms, 2 Through the Breach, 2 Red Elemental Blasts, and a Caracas. So, those are the big cards. You can see Hinkle taking a look at Todd's sideboard and vice versa here. So, those are the big ones here. Ley Line of Sanctity is pretty much the easiest one that's going to come in here to kind of brick some of that discard. Blood Moon's actually not bad here because the games are going to go a bit longer. So if Todd actually does get a threat into play, it's not that big of a deal as it would be for like a Flip Delver of Secrets or the Mongoose or a Tarmogoyf. So I think Blood Moon's certainly reasonable here as well. Also, Todd has a lot less counter magic too than a Rogue Delver deck does. So there's that aspect of it. Red Elemental Blast is okay, it's not great. Pyroclasm is about the same. So he definitely has some options available. That additional Caracas, the Singleton Caracas that Hinkle has, he actually can use to Legend Rule Todd. So that's a big one. As very briefly for you guys, we're going to cut back to the booth before we do analyze Todd's sideboard because it is trivia time here. So we've taken care of a Hinkle. We'll get to Todd in just a moment, but it is time for 12 months premium for you guys. So very simple question, hashtag your answer with the hashtag of SCG Premium. That's, that's a hashtag. That's exactly what that was. In Hinkle's deck, he has 9 creatures in his deck. 4 copies of Emrakul, the Anstor, 4 copies of Gristlebrand, and 1 mystery card. If you can name that one other creature in his main deck, hashtag your answer, hashtag SCG Premium. Again, it's about accuracy, not speed, and we will draw and reveal the winner.
I have a good clue for that.
At the end of this round, give you a clue.
It ambushed a Wirewood symbiote.
That did happen. That did happen. That was against Ross Merriam, wasn't it?
Yep. Every single time I go to a Legacy tournament, I see something I've never seen before.
Yep.
That was it for today. That was the one for today.
Ambush, we're going to use lightly with that one. I suppose it did kill the Wirewood symbiote.
It ambushed it.
Yeah, I guess that's a win's a win for this mystery creature. As we will cut back to the sideboarding screen for you guys, you've got Todd Anderson's for you. Do what you do.
Well, Todd has plenty to sideboard out. We know that much.
That's for sure.
He's got Disenchant, not too great, but there's actually some niche applications. But the key one is killing Leyline of Sanctity.
Yes.
Leyline of Sanctity, turning off all of Todd's discard, which he has 4 pieces main and 2 more Thoughtseizes in the sideboard, which are presumably coming in. So Disenchant with, not that great against Chaz's main deck. Killing a sneak attack doesn't really do it a lot of the time. But Leyline of Sanctity, really important. Really important. Guess the Saint Draft probably not coming in. Can't really tap out on your main phase all that much. Actually, Todd isn't playing the Spell Pierces. It's the Pierce Blast decks that can't really afford to tap out for Geist. All of Todd's disruption is either free, Force of Will, or proactive, things like Vendilion Click and the discard. So Geist actually might be a reasonable thing here, just as not only a really fast clock, but it's actually something that you can pitch to Force of Will, which you can't really do with your Stoneforge Mystics without breaking some rules, at least. So Supreme Verdict obviously no good. Meddling Mage obviously quite good. Surgical Extraction is another one of those weird cards where it has niche applications and can be really good or completely dead. And it's not a blue card that you could be like, I'll just pitch it to Force of Will if it's not good. It's just like, no, if it's dead and it's just locked in your hand, it's not good.
Not going anywhere.
So that's one of the cards that's going to depend on Todd's numbers. If he has too many cards to take out, not enough to bring in, Surgical Extraction, fine filler, as it does play a decent role. Vindicate, once again, probably coming in just to target Leyline of Sanctity, although it is a bit slow to be like, spend my turn to kill your Leyline of Sanctity and then hope to play discard spells the next turn. Leyline is so important that, even though that's kind of a corner case, you have to just be like, all right, I have to have outs to the Leyline at the very least. Path Exile doesn't do much, but the Thoughtseizes and the 4th Force of Will obviously all coming in.
So that's your breakdown here. You see both players lay out their 7 cards here. Hinkle going to be on the play, on search for a white free enchantment. See if he has one or not. You see an Ancient Tomb. You see a Caracas over there as well.
I don't see any flashes of white besides the borders on those duels.
Yeah, I think he's happy enough with his hand. Though you see a Brainstorm, the first card he moved to the front. So Anderson, I think he's happy enough, and so we're underway. Hinkle going to start off with a Misty Rainforest, pass that turn back.
We do see Geist the Saint Draft in Todd's hand, so he does decide to bring that in. As you told me that he did say that they're like one of his best cards, and he loves boarding them in.
Yeah,
so
said he wishes he had them in his main deck.
Yeah, not all that surprising to see it here then.
So I think Hinkle's going to... I have a feeling that Hinkle's going to move in here. He can play Caracas, so I think he's going to play Caracas just a legend roll Todd's in case that does come up.
Yeah, take 1 turn off. That's totally reasonable.
So you guys get a Brainstorm here from Anderson. Hinkle gives it the heads up.
Todd just screaming from the players area, asking me if I liked his end of turn Brainstorm. And while I'm not usually a fan, I actually think this one's fun. And I'm not just saying that to spite him. I actually, you have your turn 2 set up. You're going to cast your Stoneforge Mystic. You need to be able to dig. If you can hit a discard spell, then you'd much rather cast that. But if not, you're going to be able to shuffle away at least 1 card, and you have your turn kind of scripted. The game is going to be pretty compacted. You're not going to have a lot of time to really wait for the Brainstorm. It's not a really grindy matchup. It's pretty high velocity, if you will. So I actually don't mind that one too badly, Todd, if you're watching this replay.
Yes, your seal of approval.
Yes.
That's what matters the most.
Yes.
As Anderson does search for the Batterskull with the Stoneforge Mystic. So Hinkle draws a sneak attack. He's thumbing towards that Volcanic Island, but he's going to start his turn by sacrificing Misty Rainforest.
It's go time.
19. Yeah, I think green light's on.
Yeah. He's got the combo pieces. He's got the the backup disruption. He's actually even got a follow-up threat. He's got all his pieces.
Yeah, he's happy. He's got a bases cover with Caracas in play too, and I think he's going to be happy enough. Just show and telling here. He's going to pay 2 from that Ancient Tomb, and bingo! Here's your show and tell.
What'd you bring to class?
I brought a dragon. His name is Spyro. What did you bring to class?
Gristle.
I think if Gristlebrand was in the Spyro video games, like the game just wouldn't be beatable.
He'd be like that end
Yeah,
boss.
it'd just be an end boss that just can't be beat. It's just a poorly designed game.
Yeah, I mean, Geist' Impact is powerful and all, but
It's like the weapons from Final Fantasy VII. They're just way too difficult.
you know,
Alright, I got one, you got one, I got Gristlebrand, you got Vendilion Click. Not bad!
could be worse. I have to assume that the swords to plowshares are actually in Todd's sideboard right now, so he's not really drawn to those. Although
I feel like he may have like kept maybe one or two. You know, the thing he's actually looking for is Wasteland. He wants to get deeper into his deck, Wasteland the Caracas, and then bounce the
Plays him.
Gristlebrand.
Yeah.
Yeah, with his Caracas.
yeah,
So that's why you
this
saw-
seems like his only line here.
That's why you saw Vendilion Click target himself, and Brainstorm. His draw filter actually does allow that, but yeah, he's gotta get this party started. He's gonna start off with a Thoughtseize.
I think I might sequence that brainstorm first. I mean, if you can, get your wasteland and do that sequence, then the Thoughtseize gets a lot better because you get to see all the cards that the Gristlebrand draws, plus the Gristlebrand itself. So then you're able to be like, all right, what out of these 12 cards, what's the one piece that you don't have redundancy in that I can hope to sort of mize at least another couple turns to sculpt something.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't take Force. Well, yeah, so he's going to take Force, leave Hinkle with Brainstorm, Volcanic Island, and Sneak Attack. Anderson going to play an island.
Alright, so he's willing to take a hit from the Gristlebrand, it looks like.
And Hinkle says, yeah, why don't you go ahead and pick that up for me, my friend, with the Caracas. So, Hinkle going to untap. He's going to draw a Force of Will for the turn. Not a bad draw.
Apparently
And he gets
not.
to get in and get the Grizzle Father.
And actually, okay, he doesn't have double red. Although he does have, like, Lotus Petals and stuff. Yeah, I might have just drawn 7 there. You might be able to just get an Emrakul attacking that turn.
Sure.
And just end the game
End it
immediately.
up. I like him taking the time to get Sneak Attack in this turn, and then I think he's going to go real tough and just bump up the jam next turn.
Yeah.
Draw probably 14 and try to fight Emrakul and get this over with.
Yeah.
So Todd going to put in Batterskull with the Stone Force Mystic. He's going to draw a card. It's a Swamp, so no answer to the Caracas yet or the Gristlebrand. He does take care of Caracas this way.
That doesn't seem like a winning line, to me at least. I think that you have to find the wasteland. Like, I don't think that, Geist Batterskull races Gristlebrand Sneak Attack. I think that, 14 cards is enough to find something that will find an Emrakul, if not
Sure.
Emrakul itself.
Sure. I understand where you're coming from. So Gristlebrand going to draw 7, take 7, hit
Why,
1.
why would he want to pay? Why would he want to damage himself?
I know, that's ridiculous. I wouldn't want to pay life to draw cards either.
There he
There's
is.
Emrakul.
He
Annihilated Trigger. And Todd's going to take them all with him, I think. Is he going to reach for the graveyard? Okay, he's going to take it. Wasn't quite sure if he was going to move on or not. But yeah, that's going to be it for that game. So Hinkle's
you
going to win
can-
game 2.
You can choose to sacrifice the Germ and the Batterskull, so that's
I
like
know.
a bonus turn.
I know, that's like a combo. It's like completely absurd. I can't believe you can actually do that.
Yeah, it's too broken. The game is designed poorly.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah.
So we saw there, Chaz didn't have the Leyline of Sanctity, but Todd didn't have the discard, so it didn't really matter. Chaz was able to get kind of free range to do what he wanted. He had plenty of time to set up, establish his mana base, and make a Gristlebrand with the Caracas backup is pretty nice, especially since we do know that Todd did have the Caracas at the time.
Yeah, the one thing that Chaz was able to do is just able to draw sideboard cards. And again, you want your sideboard cards in a deck like this to be extremely high impact so that when you actually do draw them, or when you're pondering or preordaining or brainstorming for them, when you find them, they actually matter. And Caracas mattered that game.
Yeah, you don't want to bring in a bunch of cards that are just going to dilute your deck. Take out combo pieces or things that are able to facilitate your combo in, backup disruption or the card filtering, the cantrips. The cards you're sideboarding out are real pieces of your deck. You put those into your 60 for a reason, and if you take out too many of them for cards that are like more narrow, then you can actually dilute your deck and actively hurt your deck. Sometimes you're better just keeping your 60. Actually, Craig Wesco, who just won Pro Tour Dragon's Maze, in not only the finals, but I believe also his quarterfinals match, didn't sideboard.
I love it.
just like put in 4 cards, you know, from his sideboard, and then took the same 4 out and played his 60 straight up. He's like, nope, built my deck perfectly. No, why sideboard when you build your deck perfectly?
No
And
need
wins,
15 more.
wins the Pro Tour.
Best part about that Pro Tour is, a lot of people get stereotyped for what decks they play or typecast or whatever. I think everyone coming to that tournament, everyone knew that green white was a deck, and if you would ask anyone for a tournament, like, what do you think West Coast like? Definitely green white.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you think it's gonna do? Probably pretty well because it's gonna have the best green white deck.
Yep.
Yeah,
and he's going to play it way better than everyone else.
Yes.
And sure enough, he won the tournament.
Yeah. We've seen that a couple times in the past couple of Pro Tours. Paul Reitzel with White
Yeah,
Weenie.
that was exactly the example I was going to go to.
Just not even close to a surprise. But like White Weenie was the best deck, and he's the best White Weenie player, and able to just crush the tournament. We actually went a 3-0, 9-0 in the top 8.
I think that's the only time in Pro Tour history that has happened. A 9-0 in games. I believe that's the only time that's ever happened is Paul Reitzel. And everyone was blown away because it's like, really? You know, there were all these unbelievably broken, like, turn 1 combo decks in Pro Tours of yore. The one deck that actually just wins every single game in the top 8. In one of the best top 8s in Magic history is White Weenie.
Dub. My favorite deck. So, I think he had Figure Destiny in his deck, too.
Whew.
Yeah, best card.
That's like your favorite card ever.
Yeah, best card ever made. Does Figure Destiny win a fight against Gristlebrand? Yep, the answer is yes.
Yeah, well, eventually.
The answer is yes. As you see, Anderson has kept his hand. You got Hinkle as well. Hinkle's going to lead off with a mountain.
The most important part here is no Leyline of Sanctity.
Yeah, you see Hinkle's hand right now, so you see a Force of Will, City of Traders, Show and Tell, Through the Breach, Sneak Attack. So he's got all of that part of the combo down.
Right.
He needs the other part of the combo, which is the Giant Jerk. And he needs to find one pretty soon here, as Anderson is going to search out a scrub land to go along with that Tundra. So he's got all his colors. And what are we going to see?
Dark Confidant?
Dark Confidant is a good place to start.
Dark Confidant definitely the better of the options here. You know, if you have Stoneforge Mystic, you'd much rather have Dark Confidant. You need to draw your relevant cards, your discard spells, especially because Chaz does not have the Leyline. But it looks like we are going for it. And Todd does have Force of Will.
Let's get Sneak Attack into play. You see Disenchant, actually. I wonder if he's going to... Yeah, you see him going in the center. Because if he has another Lotus Petal, or if he has a Simian Spirit Guide, Todd just gets blitzed this turn.
It's just the Spirit Guide, right? Because if it's a Force... Or if it's another Lotus Petal, you can force that.
Yeah, sure.
So it's either two more petals or the Simian Spirit Guide. It's really low percentage, but Todd has to wonder, is it worth it? You know, because the Disenchant can answer the Sneak Attack, but it can't answer the Show and Tell. And sure enough, he lets it resolve, takes the turn back, and is going to have a really, really nice turn, really well set up.
Yeah. I mean, this turn actually just got insane because he drew Wasteland. So now you can just go Disenchant this. Oh, Wasteland, your City of... Okay, Force of Will, never mind. Force of Will back. Yeah, this turn's insane. So Force of Will back, removing my Jace or my Geist Saint Trap. Depending on what he wants to do, he's going to remove Jace.
Just Jace,
because Geist just closes the game. Yeah. He can then he can wasteland the City of Traders and let Bob trek on through here. Yeah, this turns completely absurd.
Yeah. You want to talk about, you know, high impact, like compacted, you know, early games. Look at that turn 3 from Todd Anderson, and now he's got the stream of cards from Dark Confidant, the threat in the form of the Bob itself, and the Geist of Saint Trap. He has another Jace to curve into next turn and sort of start Fate Sealing and try and shut Chaz out of the game. Well, there's the fatty.
Yeah, but he's so far away. I mean, a double land turns it around, but here comes Bob again. March Flats the draw. Follow that up with Stoneforge Mystic, which doesn't have a ton of relevance. I think he just wants to slam down Jace again.
Yeah.
In comes the Geist, the Angel, and the Bob, so that's attack for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gotta put Hinkle on a 2-turner. It forces Hinkle to have the absolute stone cold nuts on the next turn. He's gonna tap out. He's gonna cast Jace.
You have to Fate Seal here, right? Yeah, even though you're not sure what piece he's missing. I think you just have to Fate Seal because the Brainstorm doesn't really get you anywhere. Since you have lethal next turn, pretty much no matter what,
he
does brainstorm. So I mean, he's only really drawing to force plus blue card here. I actually like Fate Sealing. It is awkward to Fate Seal when you don't know what piece they're missing, so you don't actually know what to put on top or bottom, especially because he's got the fetch land anyway. But it doesn't matter because Chaz has got nothing.
Yes, sir.
And extends the hand.
Todd Anderson, winner, chicken dinner. Fat guy, little coat, champion. Deathblade, take it down, back-to-back Legacy Open championships. Chad Hinkle with a fantastic tournament.